10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, Silver Squad? Welcome back to another episode of the Silver Site Live. Today we're going to be breaking down season 3, episode 4, There and Back Again. This was a semi-eventful episode, so before we get into it, I want to get your overall thoughts and opinions on this episode. What did you think about season 3, episode 4, There and Back Again?
I'm like, I have to.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay. I feel like immediately not enough answers, but a lot of backstory. A lot of backstory, but not enough answers, right?
Fair.
I feel like we're at the point that we're building up to the answers, but we're not quite there. Yeah. I would say out of all the episodes of From I've ever watched, I think my blood pressure was like through the roof with this episode. Every character upset me in one way or another. It's like they're my friends at this point. I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, you know better.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the episode, but it really triggered me. I was triggered the whole, 57 minutes, whatever it was, I was triggered the whole time. So.
No, yeah, she is all of us. She is absolutely all of us. I enjoyed the episode, but like you, my blood pressure was through the roof. I felt like everybody, especially Ethan, and Lord knows, Lord knows, children don't have the discernment adults have, but my God, in this situation, I feel like you running out of the house was probably the worst possible thing you could have done. And I feel like Ethan will consistently make these crazy decisions. And I feel like at some point he's going to have a consequence. I get it. You're from town. You can't take away the phone. You can't, really ground them, but you're going to have to find some kind of punishment for this kid, because if there's a way to piss people off, Ethan's going to find it. But overall, I did enjoy the episode. Like you said, I do agree with you. We didn't really get a lot of answers, if anything, really. No, we didn't really get any more answers. But I'm looking forward to what the rest of the season brings. So,
Ethan. Like, I don't know what's up with that kid. Like, I feel like, and I think I said this last week too, Ethan just gives like he wants to be unalive, but it would give like he did it unintentionally. Yeah. Like, you might as well tell him to go outside. Literally in this episode, Boyd said to him, Ethan, stay inside.
Yeah.
We don't want to have to worry about you additionally, right? We don't want to have to worry about where you're at. Make sure you're safe. Stay inside.
Yeah.
Ethan said, say less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Heads outside. Heads outside.
But the fact that they even had to like talk to the kid again, like, I feel like at this point, you know what you're dealing with. Why are you constantly running outside? Because at the end of the day, what are you going to do? Bullets don't stop these things.
You want to know something? I feel like Ethan spends more time outside in the night than he does in the day. Because Ethan be in the house in the daytime. I would say a lot of Ethan's scenes in the daytime, he in the house.
Yeah.
But let the sun go down. Ethan is like,
Ethan in the streets.
But you know what? I feel like you said something last week that I really think came into play this week, right? Mm-hmm. And you said that you feel like the monsters are getting smarter and smarter.
Yeah.
And this episode, I think, truly
for real.
This episode truly proved that those monsters are getting smarter and smarter.
Yeah.
I guess the longer they're in Fromville, they're getting smarter. Like, I don't want to jump around the episode, but the scene that really stuck to me is when she was like, you could have the key, but we got to keep Randall.
Oh, yeah.
I like Randall. I know Randall's not anyone's favorite, but I like Randall. I'm not mad at him.
I can't get with Randall. It's not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. I would have left them, to be honest with you. So let's get into that then, since we're talking about the episode. So it
Okay.
opens up with I guess the tree in the road, and they're in the ambulance. And long story short, they end up back in the town. Now Tabitha is frantic. She's trying to explain to them what's going on. And in my opinion, she's not really doing a good job of explaining everything. And also, I feel like you already know you're going to sound crazy. So what I done in that situation is I would have said something along the lines of, "Hey, this is a really bad crime area. Like, we got to get to somewhere." Like explaining in a way they could understand. But she just didn't do a good job of explaining anything, and she just made it worse.
She did. Hey, D. She did. Like, I feel like you have to, like, how they were getting mad at the paramedics. I'm like, let's be for real. When y'all first made it to Frumville and they were trying to tell y'all stay in the RV, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't think even, I'm big on sci-fi. I'm big on watching a lot. I'm a binge watcher.
Yeah.
But if it came down to it and somebody literally said to me, listen, there's monsters, you might not want to get in your car. I'm like, let's be for real. Like, when they handcuffed her, I'm like, that's like normal protocol. I'll say, I don't think that's anything abnormal, because she was really acting crazy. But the strange part about that scene for me was I did not anticipate it being so easy for her to get back to Frumville. I did not anticipate that at all, because it's kind of like, it's like a game. It's kind of like they let her play a game. It's like, oh, go out into the real world. Oh, have fun. Call your mom. Da, 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 da. And then it's kind of like the light flip switch, and it's like, but you're coming back home. Like,
it's a strike.
Regardless of what you do. Exactly. I didn't think it'll be that easy. And like, I understand the paramedics. It's like you was driving down the highway, then all of a sudden there's a tree in the road, and now this crazy lady who you just picked up from an accident that you probably think has a concussion. And then
they were looking for her too. You ever think about they were looking for her?
They may have turned around for that one. In the climate of the nation, they may have turned around. That's funny. I don't know. Like, no one would have believed her. And you know what? Tabitha, she has misdirected anger, because even when the two guys get unalived, which again plays into how the monsters are getting smarter, because Randall was like, something's up. It's quiet out here. They normally out here. They normally doing stuff. Something is up. The monster was laid out like she was like a victim.
So let me ask you this, because now I'm starting to put pieces together as a viewer. So the monsters must have a group chat, because they knew someone was coming to town. So is everything connected? And I'm thinking too, how do they know everybody's name? How do they know everybody's past? There's got to be a from group chat, because there's no way that they would have known somebody's coming to town unless the entity told them they were bringing new people in. Absolutely.
She
super
does.
misdirected. Every time with her family, with Jade, with this situation, it's always misdirected.
They must have a group chat. I feel like they're advanced. I feel like they got a Slack channel or something, and they have tabs. Tabitha, eyes on Tabitha. Let's bring her back in. She's been out for a couple days. We got to bring her back in. But it has to be something though. But you know what? Even with that scene, I feel like part of the game that they're playing in Frumville is to turn the people against each other, right?
Absolutely.
Because Tabitha, like, they played with Ethan and really Jim when they got the phone call, because literally on the phone, at the beginning of the episode, Ethan answers the phone and they say, your mom's going to be in an ambulance. And then he's all riled up now, as anybody would be. And Jim is like, what are you talking about? Stop talking to my son. Then he goes to check. Lo and behold, Tabitha is actually in the ambulance. But at the same time, if they knew this was going to happen, they knew they were going to bring Tabitha back. To me, does that play into the bracelet that Tabitha found last week? On last week's episode, did they place it there? Was it really just a coincidence?
Yeah.
Did they assume that she would look at the address and was like, let's go to Victor's house? Because I would have went to my family's house.
Yeah,
I would have been on the first JetBlue Delta flight.
Victor's dad would have been the last thing I'm thinking of, honestly. Like, and I don't have a family or nothing, but I can only speak for myself now as a single man. I don't know if I would have even tried to get back. Somebody's got to live to tell a story, and
they would have thought you was crazy.
New York Times best-selling author. I would have made that into a series quick.
You would have been on 60 Minutes, everything. They're gonna be like, yeah, there's something wrong with this guy. There's no way.
What's the inspiration for this? And I'm like, it just all came to me in a dream. I'd be lying. Listen, I'm in a situation that she didn't. Absolutely, 100%.
There's no reason why Tabitha is still living right now.
Yeah.
There is no reason. It has to be a joke. There's so many characters that just like got unalive just because. Like, bring back Tien Chen.
Yeah, for real. Tabitha. Tabitha got like mad plot armor. I like Tabitha and Ethan. They definitely should be gone by now. One thing I do want to talk about that I've been waiting for forever. Jim finally ripped that phone off the wall. Stop picking the phone up. Every time that man answers the phone, something happens. Just put it down, please. But I don't know. So I want to talk about the officer. Now, she was running from the monsters, and I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm watching this, show with my like real-time reality brain. I feel like if I'm shooting at something and it's not affecting it, at that point, I'm not wasting any more bullets. I'm just gonna run. But she proceeds to fire off, and she hits Nikki. And one thing I noticed too, whenever somebody from Colony House gets a little bit of screen time, they die. Every time. As soon as you learn somebody's name, they're gonna die.
Low key, you're right. Because now that I'm thinking back to the last episode, she was doing the most. If I'm not mistaken, she was the one at the bathroom door in the last episode. She was banging at the door. She was doing the most. And I don't really remember her too much prior to that scene.
I don't remember her at all, honestly.
Yeah.
I think
and you're right.
But that's the beauty of Colony Town. It gives you an unlimited kind of like uncheckable, unconfirmable source of, perpetual victims, for the monsters. So I think anytime they need somebody to do something dumb or to kind of raise the stakes, they can just kill somebody in Colony Town because there's Colony House, because there's so many people in there, you really don't know who's in there.
That's the funny part about. I actually like Colony Town. I like Colony Town more than Colony House.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing about it. Every time there is a group scene with it, all these characters be popping up. I was like, all 80 of y'all live there?
Yeah, like what?
And you know what? There's always, I want to know where everyone sleeps, because there's clearly always an empty bedroom somewhere.
Yeah.
So I would love to know.
Every time there's an empty bed somewhere, take them up to the room. Like, which one? How? Like, I don't understand it. Listen, Dale has a special place in my heart for a character that I want to die so bad. I cannot stand Dale. Every time Dale opens his mouth, it's negative. Oh, they definitely overcrowded on that bus since that bus pulled up.
Listen, Dale, I think Dale is on the top of my hit list. If I was to have one, Dale from is the top of my hit list. You know what? I guess going back to you, we were talking about the officer.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for her because it's always a bad scenario. And I feel like she kind of just got dropped and everything. Like Tabitha had her misdirected anger. Like, oh, I try to tell you, Tabitha, you just got into a head-on collision, basically. The man next to you was unconscious. Are we supposed to believe anything you say?
Yeah.
Then Boyd, oh, it's your fault. You shot her. I was like, Boyd, you've been messing up for a long time.
When I tell you, Boyd pissed me off so bad, where's the understanding? Like, do you think she deliberately shot through the window, bro? Like,
some would say, why was she that close to the window at dark? Truth be told.
Well, I mean, she was being nosy with them blinds peeking back. I guess it's what you get for not minding your business. Listen, If I'm in Colony House, I hear gunshots. I'm just putting the pillow over my head. I don't want to know what happened. Tell me in the morning.
That's the last thing you want to hear in Fromville. You're already stuck there. The monsters are outside. Now you hear gunshots. That should be the last thing
I don't want no
that
parts
you
of that.
literally want to hear. But I really feel for the officer because she really got dumped into it. And I feel like Donna is losing it, right? So
Yeah,
Donna used to be the person when someone gets dumped there, Donna is
yeah,
like breaking everything down.
hmm
Like, this is what happened. This is what it is. This is
yeah,
what you saw. This is what we all saw. But Donna, at this point, I think she's cracking, right?
yeah,
So I don't even think she has like the mental capacity to break anything down for the officer. But
yeah,
you kind of need that strong person. And from like, if you think back to season 1 to season 3, it's like season 1, we had our strong put together characters,
yeah,
right? Boyd was one of them. Like
yeah,
Don was one of them, but I feel like we're losing the grasp of those strong put together characters.
yeah,
So it's very much like, who is really leading this town? I mean, I guess externally they would think Donna
yeah.
and
I
Boyd,
I
but
I,
they're
I
not.
like that, but I also feel like, in contrary, nobody can be strong for forever. I was doing like my rewatches and stuff like that, and I rewatched the scene where Donna tells what happened when she got there, and she literally saw a monster rip her sister's face off,
Mhm.
and she ran and tried to hide, but she could still hear her sister's screams. So we have to think, being there for only 3 years, having to be the strong one for everyone, having to really having to be the adult in the situation when you're the head of a house, because those
Mhm.
colony people sometimes can get kind of off the wall. So I think right
Mhm.
now she's just at a point where she's breaking. They were about to starve to death, running out of food, building towers and shit falling down and houses falling. Like it's I think it's all just becoming too much for them. Um Even I felt kind of bad for was it no, that's not, that was Marielle, right?
Mhm.
When Marielle, which by the way, worst doctor ever, she's here, drink some water. Let me see your tongue. And she feels it for her. I'm like, well, what kind of a checkup is that? But I get it. She's limited. But worst doctor ever. Um, I don't
Listen,
know. I just, yeah, terrible doctor. 0 out of 10.
it's yeah.
Yeah, burned out.
Marielle, I feel like I feel like she's a waste of a character to me, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, she had her moment. She gets high on her own
of course.
supply. She
Yeah,
gets high on her own supply. But
yeah,
I kind of feel like when it comes to her, every time she says, I was a pediatric resident, I had patients just like you. I'm
yeah.
like, Mariel, you were high as a kite, girl. She's like, yeah, I delivered. I'm like,
She leaves that part out a lot, though.
I was like, Mariel probably had the epidural, not the patients dealing with
Right?
her. I'm just like, every time she says, I'm like, you were as high as a kite.
Yeah. But she loves
Like,
throwing that around. She loves like name dropping or profession dropping. And it's like, ma'am, relax. Simmer down.
I
Simmer
don't
down
think
a
it
little bit.
matters in Fromville what you were before, truth be
No,
told.
no.
But, but, I think now thinking about Mariel and thinking about the paramedics,
Yeah.
they finally got a whole lot of supplies.
Yes, this is true, which they needed. They needed those
They
supplies.
needed the supplies.
Yeah. Which I think
Like,
will help in the
finally.
long run. It'll help in the long run.
I was so excited. Like, if any type of vehicle was supposed to get stuck at this point, I was so excited
That it was an
that
ambulance.
it was an
Yeah.
ambulance. Like, especially for Fatma, right?
Yeah.
Somebody got to deliver the baby, and I guess it
Yeah.
on me, Mariel. They needed something. So that I was actually happy about. But there was so much. I'm like, I'm trying to stay in order, right? There is so much
Very
more
good.
to like unpack in it. So, okay, so we talked about the paramedic van getting there. We talked about the
Hmm.
officer. Now, I guess we're at Colony House, right?
Yeah.
So there's just so much happening within Colony House with Elgin. My boy's still napping. He's like, am
Can
I
the
awake?
man get a nap in? Damn.
Listen, he sleep more than he's awake. I
Yeah.
don't know. Elgin with Colony House, the Blackbird from the episode before.
Yeah.
Now, I seen in one of the From groups, right?
Hmm.
They said the Blackbird is tied to Elgin in some type of way because of the shirt that
The
he
shirt.
always has
Yeah.
on. What do
Yeah.
you think about that?
I think now Elgin, if I'm not mistaken, means prophet. And I
Okay.
feel like he's seeing things that are going to come to pass or that have, I believe he's a seer. And
Okay.
this comment just cracked me up. Elgin the Napster. I think Elgin is more important than we realize. I feel like when he first got here, um, I feel like he had a little bit more, I guess, to say or to do, but I think it was more so setting him up for being actually important later. Because too many visions and him napping. He's the only one that I feel like is constantly haunted, and awake or sleep, by something. So I feel like Elgin is definitely going to play an important part. I feel like he is special. I just I I love the theory of the bird, but also birds can be like a bad omen. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, and it
Mm.
terrifies me because I think that um I don't want Elgin to die. We always root for everybody black. We don't want Elgin to die, but I'm just not seeing anything good. The bird flying through the window. Um, even Bacta was telling Tilly, like, did you really think that was a good idea? Who knows what she opened up?
And you know what? I think will come for their baby when it's delivery time because they know it their baby don't.
I have a theory, and I think
Okay. What's your theory?
all right. So think back to when they killed that monster and did the autopsy, right? When they
Mm.
opened it, it said it had to be human at some point. I think whatever's going on with Fatima, while she's craving rotten things and while she's eating blood, I feel like she's turning because we don't know how the monsters got there. They have clothes from different decades, different professions. At some point, they have to turn. Sorry, at some
Mm.
point they had to have been human. So what I think is going on with her, I really think that she's going to turn into a monster. How the when they did the autopsy, the bowels were shriveled up and the organs were shriveled up and things like that. I think something's happening to her. Hey, T Wade.
So, okay, so is it safe to say that with your theory, she may not be pregnant at all? She's just transitioning?
I think she's transitioning. I think it's a
Hmm.
possibility that there may be something else in there.
Mm. Okay.
Good point. Good
Well,
point.
I'm trying to remember. How did they confirm her pregnancy?
They have they didn't take a pregnancy test. I think she just said she was pregnant.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Like, how did they confirm it? Because is
I
her
think it's
belly
too
big?
early to show D. I don't think she's showing yet
I don't think she's showing.
because the time span from was she pregnant last season? I can't remember.
I think she was. I
She
think they
was.
ended
Yeah.
last season and she was pregnant. But what was the time span from season 2 to season 3? I don't know.
I don't think it was long because they said Tabitha had been gone for like 3 or 4 days or something like that at one point, right? Or weeks. It's not. It wasn't long.
I think it was
She
days.
did a
Oh,
test.
she did a
Okay.
test?
Did a test. Okay.
They got pregnancy tested from
Who
Phil?
the hell had a pregnancy test?
Like laying around?
Was it on the
Okay.
bus? Like I don't. Hey, where'd they get it from?
I don't know. Okay, I might
I
have
gotta
to
go
go
back.
back
Yeah.
and watch season 2 to figure it out because I don't remember that like little Easter egg, but
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay. We'll go back and watch that and report to you guys next week because I'm curious now. Like I don't remember them. Where would they get that from?
yeah, because could it have been in like someone's suitcase?
It
Which
could
I was
have.
about to say it could be expired because
It
they
might
did
be
have that
expired. It
room.
might be a false pregnancy.
They do have the room where T and Chen they had like all the people stuff where they played dress up and stuff. That
Okay.
one might have been one from like the 60s, 70s or something like that. And she took
Then
the expired
wait,
one.
when they were on the bus and did somebody on the bus give her a pregnancy test? I feel like somebody gave her that. I don't think she just had one for a rainy day.
No, because I know she didn't because she said that they told her she couldn't get pregnant. So I
So
highly
she would
doubt she
have
would
no
have had
reason
one.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time people come, they come with stuff. That's true.
So let's talk about since we're on Fatima, let's talk about Fatima. So um Chris Mariel, the worst doctor in the world, tries to save Nikki, and of course she fails because she's Mariel. And so they take the body to a room and she says, well, give me a second. And I'm thinking in my head, well, what do you need a second for? Are you the town mortician? Like, are you like what are we doing here? And she
Wow.
eats the girl's, licks the blood. Get her an insure. Please get this girl an insure. Something.
Why did I think the same thing though? Like what she said, can I have a second with her? I was like, hold on.
Yeah,
This you and her just had smoke outside the bathroom. Like y'all had words. Like y'all weren't really getting
yeah,
along. So I that scene kind of took me off guard a little bit because I was legit like, is everyone gonna get a second with her to say their goodbyes? Or is it just her because she was the only one with her?
yeah.
Right? Donna was in there. I tell you, but as soon as I heard she said, I need to do this alone, I knew something was about to happen because I was like, what do you need to do alone? Like, technically, her body was
Right, D?
still,
It's like, what's she trying to do?
listen, her body was still together. Like, they don't really have to dress the body when it comes to
Yeah,
her. Like, I was like, I don't know how many people from in Fromville actually die from gunshot wounds and not monsters, but I
yeah,
feel like she has to be Boyd, her and Boyd's wife have to
yeah.
be the two that I could recall right now that died from a
Like Sarah's
gunshot
brother,
wound.
right? Sarah's brother died from gunshots too. She killed
No,
him.
he was Sarah's brother. Wasn't he like slashed in the throat?
Was he? I can't remember.
Okay, remember Sarah was she vegan, but the baby's not.
The baby's not.
The baby isn't. Sarah's no, okay, so Sarah's brother, I thought she accidentally slashed him in the throat.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Like
okay.
she turned around and she had the knife and it was an accident because
Yeah.
I remember that scene like out at the barn.
That's what we call it, Fromville.
But I don't know. When she closed that door, I just knew. Like the way she was staring at the body, but I hate how they cut it off because she tasted the blood. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, like
Then
what?
she's tasting. I was just waiting for her to go in and take a bite. I felt like that was all that was missing in the scene. I
Yeah.
wanted her to go like head first, nose
Cow
deep.
down.
Yeah. Like I feel like if you're gonna take it there, you might as well take it there, right?
Yeah.
Like you're ready, you doing little sips with your finger. I was
Okay.
like, that baby, that from baby, or that fake baby, or maybe the monster in her is hungry.
The little From monster. At the end of the episode, Ellis gets stabbed. She asked Christy for a test. Okay. Okay. So that's where the test came from.
Oh, okay,
Okay. That
okay.
makes sense. Yeah,
Exactly. I wanted her to
yeah.
just dive in. You might as well. But what I don't understand is bringing up Ellis is a good point because her and Ellis must not talk.
They can't. They can't talk. Did he know what she was gonna do? Because she said I need a minute. So is he, now that he knows about the rotten fruit and stuff? Like,
Wait, does Ellis know about the rotten fruit?
no, I don't. Wait, no, he didn't. No, she didn't tell him that. She didn't tell him. She's no
I
Tilly.
don't
It
think
was
that.
Tilly. It was Tilly. Tilly knows, right?
Yeah.
It was Tilly. Okay, never mind. So what? So what kind of explanation would she have for leaving me alone with the body?
That's what I'm trying to figure out because again, they move the body, right? I understand. Girl, kind of delicious. Listen, when they move the body, if it was Donna, I'm like, okay, Donna's gonna mourn her people, right?
Yeah,
Because those are her people. If it was Boyd, that's not really his people, but he's
yeah.
gonna mourn the people. But I was like, why Mariel and Fatma? They ended up together at the end. I don't really understand that. But yeah, her and Ellis do not speak because honestly, they haven't had too many
Oh,
scenes
she could
together
have said
yet.
yeah, but she was already dead. So what kind of closure did she need? Was she gonna apologize to her spirit? But Nikki was the one that was mean.
She was banging on the bathroom door, remember?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. A horrible dad. He isn't around her. Like father, like son, I guess.
There's no communication between the two, and it's like, are y'all even really together at this point? Because
Low key, I feel like they were into polygamy because in season 2, when Julie first came to Colony House,
Yeah, they gave me
remember?
polygamy vibes.
Julie
Yeah, I was.
first came to Colony House
Yeah,
and she was in the room and Fatima, she kissed somebody else and Julie was like, wait, I thought you and Ellis were. She was like, well, that's my person, but I still so and so.
they
So
just dropped that storyline hard, huh? Like we ain't heard nothing about that.
I don't even remember who the girl was at this point. There's been so many people in and out. I don't even remember who the girl was.
She probably died. We don't know who dies with Colony House.
True. The Asian girl was one of my faves from Colony House, and they snatched her up real quick.
Gone. Probably died when that dude opened the window.
She did. Remember, that was the
Yeah.
one that was taking everybody's clothes.
Mhm.
She did die when he opened up the window.
Golly. I don't know with Fatima. That was just gross. At that point, I feel like I would tell everybody, like, I don't know what's going on. Y'all need to figure it out. I need some
She
help.
might need a house for herself. She might, because I'm like, does she only crave blood when the people are unalive? Or is she walking around Colony House just smelling people like, who's next?
But if she see it and was like, I wonder what that tastes like. Or that looks good.
It has to be the scent, because remember when she walked up to the spoiled fruit, it has to be the
Smell it.
scent that's
Yeah.
drawing her to it. When she walked up to the fruit, it's like she looked and then she stopped and it's like she sniffed, right?
Yeah.
And then she started eating it. So I'm like, the blood has to be the same thing, but I feel like she had that scent in her mind soon as she was shot, right? But she couldn't do anything out in public. I feel like she knew
Yeah.
she wanted to drain her. I don't know. I'm like, I don't, huh?
Taste? She wanted a sample?
Yeah. Like she wanted, like, like when you go to like Costco or something, you get the little sample.
You
Like,
look up.
it was like, yeah, she looks like a old neg. Maybe.
Be positive.
Oh
she needs some true blood. That's what she needs.
She's I am happy that her character is developing, because she definitely, the baby and how she's acting takes her is crazy. How she's acting now, she definitely has more of a storyline. So her character is definitely like developing. But when she finds out,
fear of finding out, when she finds out, she's going to be horrified and shuts down. I think so too, because in the first season she was really portrayed as like this positive light, that everybody could lean on for positivity. And I think we saw in season 2 she kind of shut down. So I don't see things getting better for her, honestly. I feel like she's gonna just go, things are gonna get worse for her, and I feel like she's gonna spiral. Someone said on Twitter that season is very visually scary and they don't like that. I agree, because season 2, I don't want to call season 2 slow, but I think that we got more gore this time around for this season, I feel like.
I think you're right. I think season 2 was a little bit more mystery, because there was like so many things unfolding with the underground cave, why these people are in a trance. There was like so many little things that unfolded. And I think this one is kind of like, let's get straight to the point.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like that's what's happening too. I think too, because a lot of season 2 was kind of more like an unfolding, but I think they kind of got the vibe, because I know a lot of people were complaining on Twitter and Facebook and just social media about how they felt like not a lot, I guess, happened season 2. But when you think of it from like a writer's standpoint, they have a kind of get out of danger free card, stay in the house. And so they kind of have to create these situations to where people will be in danger, because you've written it in a way where they can get away from the danger.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I never actually thought about it like that. From could be boring if they just stay in the house all day.
Yeah.
Literally. Like all of the scenes, the gore with Victor taking the dead people. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, we gotta get to that too. We gotta get to that too. Yep.
Low-key Sarah, # scariest person in town. He read her to filth. I was like,
someone on Twitter,
be reading people.
Someone said on Twitter that one thing Victor and Ethan going to do is eat people up. That had me dying.
And that's on Fromville. Victor eats people up. And it's like, he's like that unconventional person. Like he's not supposed to know how to read people, right? He's not like he's not supposed to know how to like. I will never get over the scene, and I think I've said it in a group like twice this week so far.
Yeah,
Victor read Ethan and packed his stuff up and go. If that wasn't the blackest thing
it was.
that they have written in From, when he packed his stuff up and go, I felt like that was very black.
It was.
That's
It was.
very much
It's for the culture.
something I would also do. Say what you got to say, pack up your stuff and go. I didn't expect that from Victor. Like I did not expect that from him.
I like Victor's character because I feel like you know what to expect from him, but then he always has those moments where he kind of surprises you and says something that's funny, not supposed to be funny, but if it's funny and it cracks you up. Sort of like Ethan always saying the wrong thing, but it'd be funny sometimes.
Man, Victor be snapping. He be tired of it. It's crazy because you wouldn't think Victor's tired of anything because he comes off very, just different. But he be snapping on people.
Actually, I think they're reminding folk that there is an actual clear and present danger on a nightly basis. Exactly. True. And that's what I feel like that's what they've done a good job of doing this season. Because if you ask me, that was probably one of my critiques overall of the show. Or if they know how to stay safe and all they have to do is stay inside at night, where's the danger going to come from? So I feel like they have to create these problems and issues like lack of food and, new people come into the town and tap the so they have to create these sort of things in order to create that danger again, because they lost it when they had to get out of danger free card. Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah. Oh, I heard about that on the news. He was not leaving his boats.
He was not. But go ahead.
So okay, so I just said we needed to talk about something, and it just slipped my mind. What was it?
Was it we were talking about Victor?
Victor and Sarah and the scary story, because someone in the comments mentioned the suitcase with all the belongings.
Yeah.
So, okay, what do we think about the little boy dressed in white? Because clearly that's Victor's friend in some capacity. What do we think about him?
Okay, so the little boy in white, I've always thought that they're trying to help people, but I just feel like they do a poor job of it. Like, I just feel like he's the one that not saves Victor, but told Victor to take the things from the bodies and bury those things. So did he help Victor bury the bodies eventually? Like, where did they go eventually?
I think he did, because Victor kept emphasizing on ghosts. Someone on Twitter said, "From builds a metaphor for sundown town."
Literally.
Yeah, it could be a metaphor for downtown.
Yeah.
Victor did keep saying that he couldn't bury all those bodies.
Yeah.
And somebody helped, because going back to season 2, I forget who went far out. It was Jim always being Jim. They found all the cars, right? And they're like, how did these cars get here? And Victor did mention that, I guess, over time, he moved all the cars.
Okay, so maybe over time he could have moved the bodies too?
I would have left them. I mean,
at that point,
it was a whole town. It was a massacre. It was a massacre. It was the whole town. But you want to know what? Before we get to him and Sarah, what I don't understand, and I need help connecting the dots, what caused the massacre of the town?
Okay, that's what I was gonna bring up too.
Yeah.
Like, so we see the monsters are kind of stepping up their game now because they were pissed off since the tower, really. And I think as the more they try to escape, I feel like the more damage they do. So it wasn't Boyd's mom, because that was way after. So who pissed them off? Who pissed them off? The people off to wipe out the whole town.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, was it Victor's mom? Because they still kind of is an uncorrupted monster. Maybe.
Could be.
Everybody doesn't have to be the same. A child will do anything with no adult around.
This is what I think. That's what I think. Every time they try to do something, something bad happens. The house collapse, town massacre, the letting the animals out and killing Tien Chen. So I think they're definitely being punished, and I think that's what happened before. Honestly,
So do you think the catalyst of that punishment was Victor's mother? It had to be in some type of way because
absolutely.
again, there's still these unconnected dots about saving the children that I'm hoping comes to light in the upcoming episodes, right? To me,
Mhm.
those dots are still unconnected about saving the children. Who are the children? Why do they need saving if they're unalive, right?
Yeah,
Why do they need saving? So I feel like there's some unconnected dots there, but something really had to go wrong for the whole town
yeah.
to be wiped out.
And so it's funny you say that because I was trying to figure out. I'm an old person, so I can't figure out technology. So I had a couple of screen grabs for the night, but I'm not going to try to share them because I'm bad at technology. So I'll read them. It's from a From group. It says, "My question is, how did the monsters manage to find everyone in a single night? Usually, the monsters will find maybe one or two people, or they could go a few nights without anyone being killed. But this particular night, they managed to get the whole town and everyone was dead out of the streets. I'm curious as to what happened this night to cause them to wipe out the entire town."
So I think, okay, so I'm trying to, the kids are trapped souls, maybe Fromville is a purgatory.
It could be their purgatory. Yeah,
You could
the
be.
ghosts.
I think something big happened that night because if you think back to season 2, that's the night where they like kind of go back to the scene with Victor, his
Yeah.
mother, and his sister. I don't know what's going to happen, but I am so tired of people saying Tabitha is Victor's sister.
Listen,
Like,
listen. I These From groups be getting out of hand. I had to leave one because that they were like, "Yes, look at these pictures," and I'm like, "No, they're not.
Tabitha is a
They're not."
Hispanic lady. Like,
Someone
I
said
don't
she was
know.
adopted by a Hispanic family, and that's how she got the accent. I said, "I can't no more, man. I can't."
Listen, but I was saying on the night that Victor lost his mother, something big was going on outside because remember the background noise in that scene, all the chaotic screaming and yelling in
Yeah,
that scene. And she literally told Victor
like that.
and his sister, whatever you do, stay inside. Stay inside.
Yeah,
Don't come out this house, right? And again, this is before they even had the talismans.
yeah.
Victor stayed in the house, but his sister ran behind the mother. But something chaotic was happening outside. To me, I'm I'm assuming, I'm like, was it a fire maybe that caused everybody to come? I don't know.
But
It
the
had to be
monsters, see,
something.
we know the monsters are super smart. So whatever they did to piss them off, how they took the animals out of the barn, who knows what they did to those people?
Hmm.
They could have lured them out and then murdered everybody. Because think about it, a whole town was wiped out in one day. The whole town
How
from
did you
Victor.
get to all of them?
Yeah, like
Like everyone had to step outside. And actually, you just made a good point.
yeah,
Victor was the only person that did not step outside
yeah,
that night. Yeah, because his mother told him to stay inside, and Victor, being probably who Victor is, he did not
yeah,
move.
yep.
So the whole town was wiped out because something lured the entire town out of their house that night, but not Victor.
Hmm.
That's why he was the only person left. His chance at
Neither one of them listen.
listen, maybe Eloise did make it. Maybe it is Tabitha. She picked up an accent. Who
I
knows?
saw somebody said that she may have gotten taken because Fromville, I guess, is so vast. Someone saying that what if she did make it that night and she just had another part, another part of Fromville just surviving. I mean,
Mhm.
could be true because they stumbled upon another village with statues. So
They did.
yeah, that would be a good twist. I'm not saying it's
Mhm.
plausible, but I did see that. Now that was the one I found interesting because
Mhm.
we never saw a body, and he didn't mention having a keepsake from Eloise.
That's a fact. That's a fact. He doesn't have a keepsake from her. So, do you think she actually is? If she is, I don't think she escaped. Maybe she was part of the people who founded the other town. I don't know.
Or maybe she could be like Martin from last season, who was tied up to
Mm,
the thing. Maybe they kept her alive. You heard it here first,
maybe.
folks.
Speaking of the other town, how do you feel about that? Like, I feel right now where it left them in the last episode, they're just like chilling in the hut. They're just chilling. Um, Christy, her foot is messed up. Messed
I'm
up.
gonna get to that in a minute, D. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
made a comment of Victor and Jim family being connected, like Harry. Okay. Yeah. So Christy's foot is messed up. They're kind of just stuck in the hut. Jade is there, and Jade is finally talking a little bit. If I'm
Finally
not mistaken, he
communicating.
said something about his hallucinations. But
Yeah.
I feel like that was really just it for that side of Fromville in this
Yeah.
episode. It didn't really dig too deep into it.
It really didn't. That was really on my notes. I only have like 3 lines. Like they
Hmm.
had a thud outside. That really nothing happened with that crew. And we learned that T and Chen like Jade. I mean, cool, whatever, I guess. But
Yeah.
what do we?
I
I don't
mean,
know what we're supposed to do with that information now. But thanks, I guess.
yeah. I mean, Jade is cool. Like I said, the last time we talked, he had his flask with him with the potato wine,
Yeah.
potato bear, whatever he's drinking.
One
He
day
always got
Jade
his
gonna
drink
find a
with
drink.
him. Hmm. So how do you tie in? All right, Jade. Okay, they need to expand his illusion. Well, here's my theory on Jade. Jade is seeing the symbols, right? And they keep making reference to the people who see the symbols, they go crazy after. So I feel like Jade might spiral downhill. I don't know. I feel like he might spiral down because he's seeing the symbols and he's digging deeper and deeper.
I feel like whoever talks to Jasper is gonna need whoever talks to Jasper is going to be the one that spirals because didn't Victor said Christopher was real nice until he started talking to Jasper and then things changed.
Jasper at all?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be crazy if what are those dolls called? I'm trying to remember the name. What are those? What's like
Ventriloquist dummies.
yeah. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it be crazy? Like I did see a theory in one of the fun groups that said Jasper is really the puppet master of all this and he's the one pulling the strings. And wouldn't it be crazy if there's a ventriloquist dummy pulling the strings?
At the
Like
end, so at the end of the series, we
I would
just
be
see him up
I would
top.
be yeah, I would be disappointed. I would be so
I would
disappointed.
turn it off so fast. Like,
Okay, puppets. All
puppets, yeah.
right. I would be so disappointed. Like, first of all, they're not supposed to have a mind of their own. So how did we get here? I feel like Jade and Victor are the power couple to finally figure out. I don't think Victor wants to figure out what's going on for real. Like,
Wait, listen. If that would be the ending, T Wade, I don't know how I would handle it. I was very disappointed in how Lost ended. I don't know if I could take this twice.
I hope that's not how they do us. I really hope that's not how they do us. I feel like if it's done right, this is one of the shows that could make it to at least season. I'll give it 6 to 7.
I could do a good 7.
Yeah, if the storyline is fleshed out right, because there's enough buildup behind all these main characters. Because honestly, a whole season could be the actual backstories that people want to know. Who was Donna before From?
Yeah,
Who was Jade? Well, we kind of know who Jade was, but who was Jade before From? So I think it could get kind of fleshed out, but I
I
don't know.
just I just need a little bit of answers, and I get the whole point of the show is the mystery. And I'm not one of the people who's like, I need answers now. I can wait, a couple of weeks or a full season to get an answer, but we really haven't gotten anything but more questions. So I don't need to know everything about Jasper, but this season I'm gonna need for them to flesh out at least the Jasper, Christopher, Victor kind of thing. But I also want to touch on. I know that scene was very small with Kenny, Christy, and Jade. But I think this may be the start of them communicating with each other and realizing that, okay, we know what's going on is not normal, but we need to at least kind of tell people a little bit of what's going on. Because right now everybody's on their own separate path, doing their own thing, but nobody knows anything that anybody's doing until they're outside screaming for help or something goes wrong.
Hmm. I do believe so. And I believe for Kenny, it might just be that because he's lost his confidant, right?
Yeah,
With that being his mother. So, we all know he had the little crush on Christy.
yeah,
We all know he had the crush there. So I really hope they become the power trio to kind of like dig deep, or even if it's just digging deep into the village and finding out why those statues are there, what the statues are, who was there.
yeah.
I want them to start digging up holes. Like, is there anything hidden? Well, we clearly know there's bear traps, but is there anything else hidden? Right. But I guess there's also danger in that. Nobody knew about the bear trap. Nobody knew Christy Swift was gonna get trapped, right?
Yeah,
So they could be going back home with all the food and other people get trapped. Then what
true.
do? We can't, they only got so many hours
Of daylight. Yeah,
in the daylight. Everybody can't get dragged back home, right? And I'm like, out of any place that you don't want to be injured, Fromville is like the number one place.
especially when your doctors are Christy and Mario, you're not gonna make it.
Listen,
It's terrible, man. I
it's
just,
really crazy. And I agree. Someone just said their heart hurts for Kenny. I agree. He's had the
yeah,
most loss.
yeah,
He's had the most loss, in my opinion, immediate loss for a younger character.
yeah.
And he's kind of left with nothing. And then he's a main character at that. So like he's not even like he's really a main character. How do you feel about the scene with Sarah and Victor? Um
I liked it. I love the
okay.
fact that we're getting. I don't know something about when they kind of dig back and tell us what happened before the Matthews family got there. I enjoy that because what it does for me is it kind of fleshes out the world building a little bit more, and I think that it contributes to, I guess, I don't want to say the mystery of it all, but
Mhm.
it kind of eases me just knowing what went on beforehand.
Right.
Um, I love the fact that Victor was eating Sarah up when he was like, you the scariest person in town. I really enjoyed that whole scene. And the fact that he wanted to build a little fort and tell the story, I was like, oh, okay,
In the
that's
basement,
in
because
the
he said the
basement.
basement is for secrets.
Yeah, the basement
I'm
is for
like, okay.
secrets. I like that. And she just went with
Mhm.
it too. That Sarah's cool. She was like, okay. She just went with it.
Sarah's an outcast. She got to go with whatever someone gives her. Truth be told, Sarah's an outcast.
She doesn't have a choice.
Why they pick Sarah? Why did Fromville pick Sarah to be the catalyst of the mess that occurred? I really don't know why they picked her, but you know, she's.
I'm a pediatric
Oh,
nurse.
I know. I don't really want Christy to be with Kenny though. Like I think Friends is good, but romantically, I don't want nobody else to get stuck in Fromville, but I
Yeah.
want someone to come into Fromville and Kenny falls in love with her. That's what I
Okay.
want to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like Kenny deserves somebody. And Christy, though she's a good person, though she's there for Kenny, I don't think Christy could be that person for Kenny. But
Yeah.
I want somebody new to come in, like, I don't know,
Take his attention off
bring in
completely.
a bridal party van or something. Bring
Oh,
somebody
could you imagine a bunch of drunk bachelorettes getting off like a party bus with champagne?
immediately.
Yeah,
60% of them are going to be unalived in the
but
first
that's it.
episode.
They're gone.
Immediately.
They're gone.
Oh my God. Man, that's
so
crazy.
so one more thing. So Nikki passes away and
Mhm.
Boyd just goes off on the officer
Yeah.
and um I was about to say Elliot. Ellis tries to, I guess, calm him down, and Boyd like, get the fuck off me. Yeah, whatever that weird yeah was that Boyd yelled. So Donna takes him upstairs, and I'm thinking Donna's about to curse this man flat out.
Me too. She just breaks
Break
down.
down.
Mm.
But after they're comforting each other, this is kind of like the end of it. We see an ambulance outside.
That boy Randall. I feel like if Fromville was gonna mess with any character and try to unalive him, but keeps him alive as payback, it had to be Randall, because Randall, he also is an outcast, not like Sarah outcast, but an outcast.
Yeah,
Like, I understand Randall in a way that, like, he's pissed. He's pissed to
yeah,
be here. Like, he's
yeah,
upset, right? Like, I would be upset too. But I think the difference between Randall and a lot of the other characters is Randall lets you know he's mad. Like,
yeah,
the other characters try to like push it off. Oh, this is gonna be great. We'll make it work. We'll find our way home. But Randall's like, I'm pissed.
yeah.
Like,
And
I was
Randall doesn't mind not being a team player either. And I think that's why it's so easy to kind of like push him up. Because even Boyd he said something about like, oh, now you want to be a team player and, stay out here with me. Because season 2, when he came in, Randall came in hot, came in a little racist. He just was being himself, and it didn't work for what they had already established in Fromville.
I agree. But I just don't blame him. Like, I don't know if I would be like the Jolly Green Giant if I just got dropped somewhere like that. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if I would just be like, we'll make it work. But
Justified.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like,
Dave.
even with the goat, Randall, y'all say ain't no food, no one can eat. Randall said, let's cook the goat.
Randall said, "What are you talking about? It's a goat." Like,
yeah,
what do
he's
you
like,
mean?
there's literally meat right here.
He
What
be
do you mean
right,
we
but
don't have food?
he be wrong, but he be right.
Randall says the things that everyone else will not say. That's what I will say about Randall. Randall says, like, keeps it a buck. He says what people don't want to say. We don't have food. Y'all got animals. We got food. You see how quickly they cooked that whole cow when one of the monsters slit his throat? They cooked the cow real quick. Okay.
It wasn't
So I'm like, and I get, even in that scene, I get Boyd's point. It was like, yeah, we have animals, but these cows make milk. They do this, they do this, they do this. But
he's
Randall,
got to be talked down. That's all it is. I think you're right. Like, he's never, not say never, but like what T Wade said, he's been justified for a lot of things that he does, but he's a jerk. And I think sometimes, like you said, he has to be talked off that ledge because Randall doesn't really think. He just kind of does, and somebody kind of has to like, well, this is why we don't let citizens hold guns, because everybody has a gun. This is, so it's like they have to kind of talk him down.
Well, I also think with Randall, he doesn't have anyone to talk to at all. Randall doesn't have any, he didn't come with family. And I think that's why I have like, I'm kind of sensitive on Randall. Like, I like him a little bit because I'm like, Randall is a character who came to From with nobody.
Yeah.
But I know people say so did Elgin and so did other characters, but Elgin has a protection of Colony House with him.
Yeah.
Right? The Matthews, truth be told, they're on an extended stay vacation with limited Wi-Fi.
Honestly, yeah.
Truth be told, that's what their whole family is there, right?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, extended stay, just limited Wi-Fi.
And Elgin and really everybody else, they're people.
Yeah.
Randall's not really a people person, So you couple that in with how he's already a jerk. No one's gonna want to be like around you. Randall will have character. I wholeheartedly believe that. Randall and Jade, I feel like they're both going to get some character development.
If the show pans out in my mind how I think it may in the last episode or continuing, I feel like there's so much room in Randall's character for it to grow that he can become sheriff because he done been through it all. Because honestly, what qualifies someone to be sheriff? I guess Boyd, but I'm like, they gave Randall back.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the From groups are saying, oh, Randall's going to be mad at Boyd. Why would he be mad? I said, I would be pissed. I'm pissed at Boyd.
Oh, yeah, I'd be pissed off.
Like, let's be for real. And like, Boyd picks and chooses because had that been Donna,
Yeah.
He would have, even if he took the key, he would have spun the block to try to go find her. And honestly, when I saw Boyd in the ambulance and he kind of just stopped and paused, I was like, he's gonna go back. He's gonna go back. When he got out the car, I was like, oh.
I heard them tires spin. I said, "Oh, he not coming back."
Right. That shocked me. A lot of things don't shock me about Boyd, but that shocked me about Boyd because he, in so many scenes, we've seen him go the extra mile just because. And I'm like, I understand this is Randall, and he's Randall, but at the same time, he's still in from.
I would have left. Yeah. Zero hesitation. Like, she would have been like, "Here's the keys, but we can take. You have to leave rent." She wouldn't even got to the end in Randall's name before I would have snatched them keys and pulled off.
The way I would have said, "Take Jim, they mama back now." Take Jim. The way I would have said, "Listen," I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna take a Randall, kick Jim out the back." I'm like, the kid's got one parent.
Yeah,
like,
got
the
one.
mother's here.
Take him out.
Tabitha. I would have traded. Okay, in the game of life or death, I'm from. Who is more valuable, a Randall or a Jim? I feel like a Randall is more valuable because he about that life. Like, he's not afraid. Like, he's afraid. Everyone is afraid, but he's not afraid to do what needs to be done and say what needs to be said.
Yeah.
Jim, what has Jim done?
Answer the phone and do stupid stuff.
First of all, this is why I agree with you, what you said at the beginning, when you're like, I don't understand why Jim didn't rep the phone. I was like, Jim, ain't nobody calling y'all that Like,
yeah, well, why is it on the wall? Just pull it out.
As soon as y'all saw that fork in the road, no one had signal. Who do you think knows where you all are to call a landline, Jim?
You don't even know what your number is.
Listen, that's if. The crazy part is Jim knows firsthand that half them electronics weren't even plugged into anything.
That is right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Like, remember when they were digging and digging and digging? They're like, how is this lamp on? And it's not plugged in.
Yeah.
So
I wanted this comment. Absolutely. Randall will understand Boyd's choice, but emotionally he's pissed. Somebody on Twitter had pointed out that these monsters are trying, and I agree, these monsters are trying to create a void. They're trying to create a rift between Boyd and the townspeople. They're trying to get them to lose faith in him as a leader. They're going to start picking with Boyd. They're going to start losing people. People are going to start getting hurt, and the townspeople they're going to start blaming Boyd. I had saw a tweet earlier, or whatever. It was like, not the monsters, like being messy and making sure the people hate Boyd, like monsters drama. Like, it's
honestly, the monsters are messy. Like, they're top tier. They're like level 10 petty.
No, for
I'm
real.
telling you, when she held that key out, I said,
she said, that woman said, here. Listen.
And then on top of that, it wasn't like Randall was knocked out. Randall was fully conscious because he yelled. He's like, Boyd, you just gonna leave me? And the saddest part about it is the only reason Randall wasn't in the ambulance is because, remember, he left to go get a toolkit to give to Jim to unscrew Tabitha.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like anyone in the Matthews family is worth a life. Like,
at this point, I see what you're saying. But Boyd is going to be Boyd. He's going to try to save everybody. And one thing that I'm curious about is the monster strength level. If they can take a bullet, who's to say that the car's not going to crush? And then they're going to be pissed off, like, we told you could go, but you try to run us over. Now we're going to kill you.
I mean, Boyd's been through worse. I mean,
yeah, true.
We could see
like, we don't know what these monsters are capable of. I just feel like I would have left Randall there too. One, because I don't like Randall. Two, because what the hell am I going to do at this point?
Yeah.
I would have pulled off. I would have done donuts and then pulled off.
Mm-hmm. But I'm excited for this Saturday. Well, I'll be trying to watch it at midnight, like, as soon as it drops.
I don't know why you do that.
I got to. So I'm in a lot of other From groups apart from the Fromville Black Family reunion. And if I don't watch it at midnight, like, at least in that group, I'll try to post like spoilers and comments. In a lot of those other groups, they got screenshots
Screenshot
of the episode. I'm
everything.
like, wait. I didn't even I didn't even get to watch it yet. So it's like I gotta kind of watch it before it gets ruined for me.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. I need daylight for this show because you never know what's gonna happen. So sometimes it's an easy episode. Sometimes you get something like this, and I got cats that be on my deck, and I be hearing bumps in the night. I don't got no talisman, so we gonna get this done in the daytime. So
Oh man,
yeah,
no, I'm down to being the first person. Well, not the first, but I'm down to watching it as soon as it drops. And it's just crazy because I don't know if this is just me. I know the episodes are about an hour, but I feel like the more I get into the season, those hour episodes are giving 25 minutes.
that's what it feels like. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was rewatching before we came on today, and I'm like, I'm doing have my little notepad and I'm writing stuff down, and I you kind of hit to see how much you got left, and I'm like, wait, what? It's over already?
Mhm.
It's they're going by quick, man. So, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this season. I can't wait to see what the finale is gonna be like. I've Y'all know I've seen some of their
Mhm.
episodes earlier, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. I can't wait for you guys to see them. I absolutely love
Mhm.
this show. So overall, we didn't do this last week, but overall A through F, what do you give this episode?
I'm gonna say I give it a C.
C? Okay.
I give the episode a C. It's definitely not an A. It's definitely not an F. But I say a C. It's midway because
Okay.
it's building upon something. We're seeing it's building.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think it would have been closer to an 8 for me if the reunion happened. The
Okay.
reunion
Okay.
with Victor and his dad, if that happened, it would have been like a B plus A
Yeah.
episode for me, right? Because that is one thing I'm like just waiting on that to happen. Like Tabitha has told she's told every time I'm like, she's told Jim who it is, right? But I want her to tell people who actually share information with the right
Mhm.
people. Telling
Okay.
Jim is like telling me I'm not in Fernville, who I'm gonna tell,
Yeah.
right?
True.
But I want to see the reunion and I want to see how that plays out because Victor being Victor, he might not believe it at first because he was a kid when he
Yeah.
left and he's an adult, right? And even the father, so many years have passed because I don't remember how long Victor's actually been there, but looking at
Yeah.
like the past scenes to the jump, it has to be at least 40
Yeah. It's been a
years.
long time.
Yeah. I want to see what that reunion looks like. Are they able to connect? And Victor's a very open person. So will he automatically be open to this person? Because the father's going to have questions and
Yeah.
Victor got the answers, but he got to pull them out. But yeah, for me, this episode was a C.
Yeah.
I need more. I don't need all the answers. I just need a little bit more.
More
Right.
action. Not action, but you need eventfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. That's fair. I say I'll give this episode a B minus, maybe a C plus, somewhere in there. I didn't dislike the episode, but it wasn't my favorite from episode, if that makes any sense. Definitely enjoyed the ambulance scene and them leaving Randall and stuff like that. So there were cool moments for me where I enjoyed it. But overall, definitely pleased. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week. So before we get out of here, Dr. J, where can everybody find you at?
So you all could follow me my personal page on Instagram at Jamazing. That's JEHMAZIN. Or if you want to hear more content from me, just lifestyle stuff, pop culture, you could look at the link in the description box to find On Therapy Podcast. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on all streaming platforms under On Therapy Podcast.
Great. And you can find me at the links down below. Don't forget to like, share, most importantly, subscribe. It's been so much fun breaking down this week's episode with you all, and we cannot wait to come back and do this again next week. We are also looking for additional panelists and guest hosts. So if you're interested, feel free to shoot one of us a DM, and we'll be sure to hook you up with the link so you can join us and discuss this show live. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Later days.